Hey guys, welcome back to the CNSL Season 7 on ArtosisCasts. We are going into the losers match of the round of 16's Group A. We're going to be eliminating one of these two fine players, Ample or Paralyze, going to be out of the tournament after this best of 3. We have already had Ruin advance. Motive awaits the winner, so it's going to be a hard road for either of these guys. Let's go ahead, get into it. And here we go. In the top right of Troy, we have the Afro Toss himself. It is Paralyze. And in the bottom left, our last remaining Terran player here in this round of 16, it's Ample. I'm kind of surprised Troy is the map. I don't know in what world a Terran player does not veto Troy, but Ample generally plays a very aggressive style. So maybe he thinks that this map is okay. And here's why, right? So if you hold like everything early game, first off, you have a ramped expansion. When you have a ramped expansion, you do not need to get siege. Okay, so like if you don't, siege is the antithesis of attacking. Okay, like if you need to get siege mode, it's for defensive purposes early game. And it means you can't set up an attack. So there's a combination of you get your ramped natural, and thus you have basically your bunker holds everything. And then also, if you look at like the size of the map, like Troy, if Troy didn't have the assimilators, this would be a wicked Terran favored map. Absolutely crazily Terran favored because the center is really small. Like, look, if I zoom out, right, the center is like that. So the push distance anywhere is very fast, and there's these ramps that bring you to high ground that you can put tanks on. So like a mid-game push is very, very good here. Oh my god, that's an 8 racks. Okay, so while I'm describing this, it looks like that's kind of funny because this is actually what I do on this map as well. 8 racks, like basically the 8 racks gives you potential to stop things like Zealot rushes. It also gives you the potential if your opponent goes like Nexus first, you might be able to kill it. If they go for just straight into Dragoon, you might be able to actually kill one of their assimilators, right? It actually gives you like a lot of options. Now, Ample getting a little bit unlucky, and it is going to be a cross spawn, right? So he sent SCVs to both the close by mains. Doesn't see it, so it is a further travel distance for his Marines. He gets his gas stolen, unfortunately, and there is a Zealot being made. So the two Marines simply have to turn around and run home, and the Zealot's going to get hit on one, unfortunately. What? Yeah, there it is. It's like, no, seriously, I know, this has happened to all of us so many times. So yeah, he gets that initial hit. There are more Marines. He'll be able to hold off the Zealot, but I mean, this is obviously very annoying. I think Ample just has to kind of expand from here. And the thing is, 8 racks is, you can make SCVs after you get your 8 racks, 9 depot, and the depot finishes. You can make SCVs nonstop from there. So you are down on SCVs, like you're down 2 to 3 SCVs with it, and they are a little bit later. So your economy is not as good, but it's not like the end of the world, right? Like you can recover from that. Now, the Marine comes down, and in fact, we have a little bit of pressure there from the Zealot. Comes up, deals a bit of damage. Okay, he's got 1 hit on both these and 2 hits on this one, and killed a single Marine. Another Zealot coming now. And I like that Ample's just making Marines right now. I think that that's actually a very smart, very good play. If we have an overcommitment here from Paralyze, there is the option of a counterattack. And let's see. Well, he runs up and there's nothing blocking here anymore, and some of these are very damaged. So this is, it's like an even-ish trade. If he could have stomped that, it would have been fantastic. But you know what? He kills both, and he's got quite a few Marines. This is worth a counter. Oh, yeah. See, now he had his SCV up here, and he saw no range or anything on the way. So now we're looking at this, and Paralyze sacrificed like 3 Zealots so far this game. It's been nonstop Marine production. So he does an SCV drill. This is a very smart move. That's a lot of SCVs at 12. And he knows it's coming, right? Shield battery on the way. He's bringing his own probes out. He knows it's coming because of the assimilator. But yeah, this is, I think it's an excellent call by Ample. I think this is a very called for response for the greed that he's facing, plus the losing of all those units. Now he unstacks his SCVs so he can block the probes. He doesn't want those probes to be able to get on top of his Marines too easily, but there's a nice drill to the assimilator. The drill is actually ruining everything for Ample right now. Dude, he's losing every Marine so quickly. And with that shield battery, look at that. Heals back up. The rush is very close to over at this point. He did kill some probes. Like this, if it wasn't for that probe drill, right? Like if he had been able to kill this before he left, there would have been no location for Paralyze to right-click his probes onto. Okay, so that's what a drill is. Like if you can't see the minerals or gas, you can't make your... It's called like a mineral walk, right? We also call it drilling. But basically, they can go through everything. In StarCraft 2, you don't need to see it. You can just right-click on anything that you see on the map to drill. In StarCraft 1, that's not the case. So if he didn't have this, the drill wouldn't have occurred, and I think that could have been a victory for Ample. Instead, the game definitely still goes on, okay? He doesn't have a lot in the bunker, and in fact, he blocked his own Marine there multiple times. And he's going to not even... Oh, he does get the second one in. It would be much better if he had 3. With 3 Marines, he actually might have been able to kill this. I don't know if he kills it anymore. A little bit harder to say. Like, I feel like what you got to do now that you have range is start targeting SCVs that are on the outside. If you can get this down... Because the bunker can't target. Okay, that's like an important aspect of this. I think it's incredibly important to target SCVs, though. Target all the damaged SCVs. Because if you can get them below the repair rate, like if you have one more Dragoon than they have SCVs, you will kill the bunker. Not great targeting from Paralyze thus far. And in fact, but Ample realizes what's going on. He looks at this, says, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to kill that. So he backs up. He has his command center up. He hasn't killed that gas yet, but he does have a factory on the way because he made this at the natural. A crazy opener. Crazy opener. So where are we at after this opener? Okay, they both have their expansions up. We have the bunker. This is the nice thing, right, is that he doesn't need siege mode even though his opponent has range, because you have to step up to get vision. So it's like, yeah, the bunker just starts attacking you immediately, right? Ramped naturals are so good for expansions. And it goes on both sides as well. Like if Protoss opponent has the ramped natural, it makes Nexus first way more powerful. You can't really do like 3 tank pressure or anything like that because you can't shoot uphill or anything. This is actually... Okay, this I hadn't realized that he was going to be able to get vision there. This is actually misplaced is what that means. It should have been 1 hex over and it would have covered all of the high ground vision area. But you see this line here? He's just got vision of the high ground. So he's able to hit that. That's highly, highly annoying. And we do have a little bit of missing going on as well. This is missing half of its shots, and this one should be, but it doesn't look like it is. This is a reverse ramp, so sometimes there are high ground tiles at the bottom. Yay, Brood War. Anyways, Siege Tank on the way, and he is getting Siege Mode, so that's a little bit sad that he's ending up getting that. I actually don't think that he needs it. I don't think he actually needs Siege Mode, but he's getting it for safety, and that's probably smart. Starport is being made. He doesn't really have any units to drop, but he is getting the Academy as well. I love the combination of Starport Academy, and that's going to be an armory, yeah. So he's going to be very, very, very low on actual units, but very high on tech. And in fact, Ample is up in workers right now. So Ample has actually done a lot of things really well, right? Some things went wrong. The probe drill onto the gas obviously was annoying, but I think he's made a lot of very good choices. The fact that he is going into Armory and Academy with a starport as opposed to, like, let's say... Oh, God. That's kind of funny, isn't it? Oh, my God. That's so annoying. Okay, Paralyze is actually going to use this opportunity to run up since he has this... Oh, my God. He's just going to blow these up. This is so painful. Ample had everything he needed for defense, and now the rallied out dropship is shown. Oh, my God. Ample had everything he needed, but what he was trying to do there, guys, was He lifted this and sieged. Oh my God, the damage is insane. Dude, he was up in workers like seconds ago, and now he's down 13 workers, and the Reaver lives. So what he was trying to do, guys, he knew the Dragoons were here. He just moved the tanks forward to siege to hit the Dragoons, but there was already a Zealot walking up, so he unsieged and moved back, and then he was out of position, and the drop came in, and it's just like a symphony of everything going wrong for Ample. So he goes from this cool position that I was going to talk about, where it's like, okay, he's got all this tech, he's got good SCV count and all these things. And now look at this position. This is Paralyze is winning by far. There's no opportunities for him to do anything. Paralyze knows about the dropship, right? He killed a ton of SCVs. If he even just still had the SCV count, he'd be okay. Now, the game isn't like over 100%. There might be like a little bit of play because he does have a dropship. He doesn't have speed yet. So it's really hard to make something happen here. It's hard. It's really hard. And look at this. He scans. He sees, look at this. 2 Dragoons on anti-drop duty. Photon cannon. Photon cannon, 2 Dragoons on anti-drop duty. Photon cannon, 2 Dragoons on anti-drop duty. So Paralyze is blocking everything, right? Like he's just not allowing any potential for drop harassment. Now, there are 2 vultures being brought out, and in fact, he saw that moving, so, you know, he did have an observer over here. He saw that moving out, so he moves the Dragoons into a position to possibly catch it. Look at this. Starts a cannon. He's taking the island expansion as well. Oh, God. Thank God. Ooh, that would have been just the cherry on top of the cake there for Paralyze if he found that kill. Going up to 5 factories. Dude, it's such a tough position here. I love that he has a Wraith. He has the comm stats. He's building his SCVs. He's building his facts. The thing is, like, well, it's been a weird game, so we can't really look at standard timings. If this was just a regular game with regular expands and no damage in the early game or anything, right now Protoss could be maxed. He's at 100 supply, so it shows you the diversity that we have in Brood War, where it's like, yeah, I know a few weird things happen in the early game, so here we are at 100 supply versus 85 at 12 minutes. Looks like Paralyze getting ready for a Nexus in the bottom right, that 5th base location. Here's a big problem, okay? So if your opponent's taking a 4th and you are on 2 base, you need to hit with your 2 base push immediately, or you need to get that 3rd base up ASAP. And then if a 5th Nexus starts, you either need a 4th base or you need to attack, right? So, like, Paralyze is putting a lot of tough choices right now towards Ample. And a problem as well is that Ample has gone into, like, a 5 factory play here, which it's like, okay, that makes sense. Ooh, he gets a Reaver. Very nice. But specifically, Paralyze is a speed shuttle guy. He loves mass speed shuttle. He loves Psystorm, right? He makes fighting comps. Like, I like to call these speed shuttle styles like fighting comps. They're very good at fighting Terran armies. They're not good at finishing the game. So, like, Ample is probably not going to die, but I don't think he can push. Wow, he gets the other Reaver as well. Some sloppiness there from Paralyze. Yeah, definitely a little bit of sloppiness. You know, he's got the 5 facts. He's getting out some Goliaths. He's rebuilding his barracks. He needs a command center, I think. Like, this doesn't... you're never going to scale up well enough. He might just max out on... he might go up, like, to 7 facts. Just stop SCV production. He's got 44 SCVs, which is good for a 2-base all-in. But, yeah, he might just say, you know what? The map is kind of small. Let's just do a really ridiculous push here. And sometimes Protoss engages poorly. So, like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say... Look, I was saying he needs an extra command center, but I think he's far enough behind that if you do that... Paralyze runs away with the game. Here, he's looking for a Paralyze error to win the game, right? So he's going for something that could potentially win if Paralyze trades very poorly. He probably needs to trade, yeah, very poorly or kind of poorly twice, I would say. So coming over, getting into a position to attack this is good. Look at this setup from Ample, man. He's making the best of a bad situation for sure. 3 shuttles full of Zealots here, getting ready to bomb in. Here we go. Paralyze going to attack down. Starts bombing in on top of these siege tanks. And, well, he does get a good spread there. The siege tanks should be trying to target Dragoons, which isn't really occurring. He does keep this one alive, which is big. But the Dragoons do seem to be trading a little bit too well. And he will back up, as he was going to lose his Dragoons. In fact, loses most of them there. But he's going to clear this, so he keeps his Nexus alive, keeps his 61 probe count there. But he broke most of the tanks, and you can see the supply differential getting a little bit worse. A lot of Zealots coming out. One thing to mention, we don't have a lot of Dragoons, right? He definitely needs to make a round of Dragoons here. And he's not making too many, right? So it's like 5 Dragoons. If you're just careful and you don't over-siege your tanks and lay a bunch of mines, this can become a little bit hard for Protoss, you know? That sometimes is how the strongest rush timings open up, is when your opponent loses a lot of Dragoons, because you need a decent amount for consistent damage. Against Zealots, you can just micro forever. Like, Zealots can be absolutely destroyed because you just kind of kite against them and they don't engage that well. So anyways, he does drop off, and you can see, right, without the Dragoons there getting those extra hits, look at this, pulling back a little bit. The Reaver does reasonably well, but he does bring up the rest of his Dragoons now. Did pop out a few more there and does start to get that damage down again. Oh, sick Reaver hit. Absolutely sick Reaver hit. And yeah, Paralyze right now, probably feeling pretty damn good about this spot. It's getting a bit worse for Ample over time. He has less and less siege tanks involved. And don't forget, it is 4 bases. It's like something that Paralyze should be able to just grind out. In fact, he's not even really spending all of his money, and he's still in a position that looks kind of impossible to lose. Ample taking a 3rd base over at 9. Science facilities up, so it looks like he wants to start +2, but he has not done so yet. And he's going to back up and maybe play a more defensive game. But now that you're giving Paralyze, like, freedom, we'll probably see him throw down, like, 2 Nexuses and just start bombing in with his speed shuttles. Right? Oh, we actually floated command center. I like the idea, but yeah, the speed shuttles are going to dominate. Drops just a couple Zealots out there. You're just going to have to lift this, I think. It's not a lot of play there. You know, he's trying to get this base up. We have a Nexus being started up at 12. Really, I think he should send another probe down here. Maybe send a Zealot just to make sure there's no mines. There's not, but, you know, you kind of assume there might be. And he's going to try to keep this. Making Marines, so this is kind of a desperation play. He'll make a bunker in here to try to shore up defenses slightly. You see the shuttles coming in and being just harassing a little bit. He has the Goliaths out to try to catch some of these shuttles. Yeah, it's a very, very tough position here. Psystorm's starting to come out from Paralyze as well. So if... Okay, let's look at how Ample can maybe win this game. Okay? Because it's kind of a long road, right? I think it goes to be a pretty long game if he wins. Like, I'm talking, it has to go at least 30 minutes, at least. Now, getting this base up is a good first start. And keeping this base, right? He's almost out of workers. Okay, this is kind of low. He does need more SCVs. I think he needs mid-50s for SCVs. Normally you want in the mid-60s, but in this case, he's already almost mined out of his main. But he needs to turtle up super, super, super hard. And we need to see, like, attacks that are just inefficient over and over. Now, in comes a huge amount of Zealot bombs over the turrets into the mines, and he will force everything back for now. Now, Ample doesn't lose that much. And he definitely needs to hold on against these Dragoons coming in. The Dragoons start to just slaughter everything. It's very tough. Look at the supply, 87. Right now, Paralyze up 100 supply. He's got all the mobility in the world. He's got 5 bases. We hear a scan going off there. We might be pretty close here to a GG. And in fact, very smart move from Paralyze. He kills 1 geyser. So the 1 geyser will prevent vultures, Goliaths, or tanks from getting through, while Zealots can still move in there, right? So the speed shuttles bombing in are going to be super strong. You can't reinforce with anything other than the single dropship. So 5 speed shuttles obviously out produce the dropship as far as units going in and out. 5th base is on the way. This game is over. Yeah, like as that attack came in, I was actually starting to calculate because of the 4 base, like a possible comeback here from Ample, but there's no comeback at this point. I think this being slowed down that much, there's no comeback at this point. Oh, I love the Fire Bat. Because he knows that there's going to be a lot of Zealots coming out. Honestly, just Fire Bats would have been best there. That would have been actually pretty reasonable. They do well, good damage against Zealots. I like that idea. I'm gonna think about that a little bit. That was kind of cute. Anyways, stops this base as well. Ample with really nothing left. I think we're just gonna have to jump into game number 2 here and see if Ample can do a little bit better. Paralyze, maintaining his max the whole time. And as you can see, I mentioned before, right? Like, he really is into the speed shuttle style, and he'll just kind of grind you down over time. It is really hard for this style to actually kill Terran. So sometimes you see the games, like, go a little bit longer with this style, even if Protoss is really far ahead. Because Terran players kind of know as well, right? That it's like, okay, it's really hard for you to kill me with this. The harassment can be very good. The battling in the center can be very good, but the actual killing blow doesn't really come, right? It's more about just getting ahead and staying ahead with this type of composition. So another drop in here, and obviously, like I said before, you have to... Okay, GG. All right, so going into game number 2, we're going to be on Retro. We have Paralyze here in the top right, and in the bottom left, we have Ample. You know, obviously that Troy game, there was a lot of craziness going on. It's too bad because it felt like, you know, Ample actually did all right considering he didn't kill the Nexus with that, like, SCV drill. He actually made a command center at home. I feel like he did a lot of things really well and then just got a little bit unlucky with what happened when he tried to poke the goons. You know, you try to gain a little bit of value and your opponent happens to be attacking you at the same time, and it's like, well, I guess you're dead. But he made some good decisions. I think the all-in push was a really good decision as well. Yeah, it's unfortunate for him, but you know what? I'm holding out hope here for our second map on Retro. Now, it is cross-spawn. I'm a little bit nervous Paralyze might go for like a command Nexus first, right? We'll see. And no, it looks like he will not, so that's good at least for Ample. Those cross-spawn Nexus first can be a little bit tricky to deal with, to say the least. Gonna put down the gateway and go ahead and scout right away with that. You know, Ample here, he is gonna go down and make more forward barracks near the ramp. Kind of an interesting location. I'm not a huge fan of that location, but he might do something like Depot Factory. Because this doesn't make a lot of sense. If a Zealot were to come, like if there was a Zealot rush and your depot is here for your Marine to run through, the Zealots can just kind of go down, right? Huh. Anyways, we'll see what the actual plan is. Yeah, he goes ahead, gets his gas. Gonna go ahead and send a scout out as well. And not finding him right away. Cybernetics Corps gets started here for Paralyze. And will he go for a Zealot? A little bit unsure on that because it is a pretty fast scout. So sometimes that does point towards a Zealot coming. But it looks like no. I guess he's not actually. He's just going to continue that pro production and, you know, tech up a little bit. Maybe just a Dragoon expand or could even be range. Second pylon going up now. And we'll see if Ample goes for like a end scout or he does a box scout here. That's kind of the next thing I'm looking at. Gets that factory down very nicely. And yeah, I mean everything looks pretty standard, pretty nice. Nothing too weird. And like, okay, so let's, I guess, talk about Retro a little bit. Now, Retro is kind of a remake of Fighting Spirit. Sorry, getting a little bit of a brain fart there for a second. Retro is a little bit, like, it's a remake of Fighting Spirit, basically. It's a much, much better version of it. And by the way, the Nexus does go down with a canceled range, and he should be able to scout that because it's high health. So that is actually important, and I'll talk about that in a second. But the thing about Retro is it's a 12 base 4-player map. So it's a like the hardest thing here is for Terran to go 4 base. It's very hard to play a 4 base game here. You can play a 2 base or a 3 base game as Terran, but the 4th base makes you very susceptible to Protoss just kind of bashing somewhere. Anyways, that's that. I think that fits Ample anyways. Like, he likes to do quicker attacks, so kind of makes, like, I'm not too worried about him dealing with that, whereas some players I would be more worried about it. Okay, so the no range expansion. Let's talk about that for a second. When your opponent goes no range, okay, yeah, and this is beautiful. He's going to go tank mines, probably make 1 more Marine, and he'll hit an attack with like 4 Marines, 5 Marines, and Vulture Mines, and 1 tank. All right, we should see that tank start. Let's see. Tank mines, tank mines. Tank mines. Okay. So this is leading exactly what I was saying about the canceled range. If your opponent cancels range, you don't have to make a bunker. Okay, this is kind of like, it's not exactly a new development, but it is kind of a new development, right? Like, basically this build, the builds just keep evolving over time, over and over and over. But a lot of Protosses do cancel range to get the Nexus up more quickly. And if you can see that they do that and you skip the bunker, it allows you to play a more aggressive game because you're like a little bit greedier, right? Like, if he had to make the bunker, he just wouldn't be able to move out with this stuff while doing other things and feeling good about it, right? Now, 3rd Command Center coming up, lays a mine down. That's kind of a funny mine. I feel like you want like 1 mine in front when you're doing this so that you know where you can get your tank and Marines to without micro, and then kind of bring everything together and go. Now, he walks up. Okay, see, there's not that many Dragoons here yet. There is a 3rd one down here and a 4th one down here, but they're way out of position. So Ample actually having like a reasonable little pressure. Now, range has finished by the time he gets there, but he's getting good intel as well, right? It's like, okay, we have 2 Dragoons at the front. He doesn't go as far as I was hoping for his sake that he'd be able to get. And it looks like these 2 Dragoons actually come out. I'm surprised that he came out here with these. Maybe he was trying to catch like a rallying Vulture or something like that. And in fact, he kills a Vulture and he kills the Marines. So that does reasonably well. Ample lays a mine here to kind of zone these Dragoons back. That was to zone the high health ones so that he might be able to get a kill, but doesn't end up getting it. Okay, at the end of all that, Ample has a really fast 3rd, much faster than Paralyzes. Now, can Paralyze do anything about that? Well, I do like the fact that he's floating the barracks up. He's going to make a little bit of a wall here. There's no info right now for Paralyze. Now, he actually has enough goons to walk up and kill the siege tanks. Okay, 3 siege tanks. He should be okay. He's going to see the SCVs transferring, though. So he might just attack. Oh, my God. He's actually just going to try to run up here. Now, you have to block this ramp with SCVs. This is a big mistake from Paralyze. Now, if there wasn't a tank up here, this might end up being a great move. Oh, that's a funny-looking wall. Okay. Ample going up to 3 factories quickly. With this tank coming out, he might need to start leapfrogging forward. Notice another Dragoon comes up, but he has that full wall. He's blocking with SCVs. You need to block with SCVs. If those get up there, you're going to lose the base. Dude, this is excellent for Ample. Excellent. He is going to end up losing 1 tank there, but he should be able to kill everything else off now. Yeah, he's not going to lose another tank. Okay, this is such a good opener for Ample. I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed. Like, that push, he did all of that, guys, based off the fact that range was canceled, by the way. He knew he could put pressure on. During the pressure, he expanded. He went directly into siege mode. There's, like, a lot of cool things that have occurred here. Now, if it had been, like, a really quick Reaver or something, this would have been a little bit harder to hold. Maybe even has to, like, lift it off and take it later. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I haven't seen anyone actually take those liberties against a rangeless expansion. But anyways, back at Paralyze's home, he's at a pretty good probe count. He has his third base up, and he started a fourth base very quickly when he saw what was going on. But he lost a lot of Dragoons, so he doesn't really have any sort of pressure or anything. He has a shuttle. He has speed on the way, but it's Paralyzed, so you kind of know that he's doing this already. I swear he does it like every single game. He just loves those speed shuttles, loves Reavers. And we already have turrets up for Ample, so like everything is looking pretty good. Now he's going to slip a few vultures out this way, lifting that wall. Lay a few mines so he sees anything coming. Oh my god, if he gets up here and catches these probes, this is huge. This is huge. Oh my god, Ample is in such good shape this game. And look at that, lays a few mines down. He's going to kill a lot of probes here. Holy crap. This was an excellent harassment. Looks like it's just about done. Oh, maybe one more probe. Yeah, one more probe does end up going down. But he kills a lot there. He's only down by 5 workers at the moment. Oh, well, he should have been up by workers, but we actually have the Reaver drop at the same time as that vulture harassment. So the Reaver gets killed, the shuttle gets killed, and the worker count is still pretty even. So Paralyze kind of undid the damage dealt to him by dealing very similar damage to Ample. So that sucks, right? Like the extra expansion loses most of its workers on both sides. Ample will, Paralyze will be able to refill those probes pretty quickly. So will Ample. Like you're on 3 base, you're okay. You can kind of remake those SCVs. 54 SCVs is really healthy. Adding a bunch of factories now. He does have the armory going. He's getting the science facility. Science facility's like pretty quick there. Another Reaver gonna fly in. Nothing else in this shuttle. I don't think it really gets much done. Well, that wasn't that wasn't the best Reaver I've ever seen. Oh, too bad. If he had sent one Goliath the other way, he actually would have killed off the shuttle. That would have been actually pretty big for him. Now, Ample is getting ready to go into 2-1 here, right? He's getting his second armory, and his factory count is getting reasonable. Right, so he's going up to 6 factory right now. In my opinion, and I'm pretty sure my opinion is correct here, he should be going up to 9 factories right now. Just heavy, heavy, heavy factories. Get yourself to like 60 SCVs. Yeah, build a few more turrets, get a few more mines out. You know your opponent's playing speed shuttle. But what I want to see from him is pushing out. First off, take this area and then kind of get some reconnaissance and see where you can attack. Maybe heavier Goliaths because your opponent loves these speed shuttles. But yeah, like, you have to get ready to start attacking. If Ample goes for like a turtly macro game, dude, is he going directly to 9 fact? Is he going to do it? 6 plus. Come on, Ample. This was definitely sent for a factory, guys. So Ample agrees with me 100% that he should go to 9 factory here. But yeah, you go to 9 factory, you take a more forward position, you get some recon, and you figure out, okay, where can we attack? Because again, this is not a map where you want to go to 4 base. If you go up to 4 base here, like this base and this base are too far apart and too hard to defend both of those areas plus here, right? So it's like, it gets really gross and Protoss can just smash one base over and over. So, and there it is. There's that 9th fact. So this is beautiful play from Ample. I love it. And not just because he's agreeing with me on the assessment of what he should be doing, but because we're both right. This is a very, very good game out of Ample right now. Now, I like this from Paralyze. Kind of just sets up some Reavers on the high ground. That's going to stop Vulture rotations through there. He has Dragoons in the center, so a little bit harder to run out through this area. Probably not thinking about going through this area very much. I think you want to keep this pretty turtled and not think about it all that much as Ample. Now, he is starting to move out. It's a pretty decent army. It's not a huge army yet at 150. He does need to be careful. You definitely want to make sure you're hitting critical mass. Little drop coming over towards that 12 o'clock base. By the way, another main is being set up by Paralyze. Okay, so I talk about this tension a lot, where the 5th base comes up and you need to decide as Terran, are we attacking or are we taking a 4th base? Attacking is the way. He went to 9 factories already. There's just no reason. Well, the thing is, if you start to just gain money, like let's say you miss some macro cycles, you could just make the command center, right? So it's like stupid to be like, well, I should be attacking and macroing perfectly, so let's sit on the extra 1,000 minerals and extra Q or something. It's like, no, make the command center. It's fine. But, like, in theory, what you want is to just macro super, super well here and keep your minerals down and have as many units as you can possibly have, right? So whether he makes that command center or not, the idea here is to attack. Now, Ample moving over with these vultures. He's picking off a few units here and there, laying a few mines here and there, and this is actually really good play as well. It looks like he did take out that cannon, by the way, with the tank. Looks like he had to sacrifice the tank for that, but gets in with some more vultures, and he'll pick off what he can, but, you know, everything is aggroing the shots from, you know, everything has higher priority of attack than probes, basically, so he's having a hard time. He's got to, like, click on everything he wants to attack, and just, you don't really have time for that. You got to just continue to macro. Now, Paralyze is actually maxed out at this point, but his army isn't as high quality as you may expect, right? He's got the shuttles, which is really good, but look at this. It's like 12 Zealots, and then, oh, he's going to get that one before it... Oh my god, it's going to unload like 3 of its Zealots. But he gets in here, double Reaver, and he's going to dive immediately upon these depots. He's going to get 4 depots, which is so annoying. Does not have that Reaver damage upgrade, at least. Still a good setup up here. And he's just going to get a nice supply block, it looks like. This is really, really annoying. He actually can't even get SCVs back here to build in this location, which is funny. That's like, makes it even more annoying. In the meantime, Paralyze sending more units in. I tell you, it was a good dive. It was a good dive. You know, maybe a few more mines, maybe a few more missile turrets in here could have changed the way that this game was going to go. Because that was a great sacrifice from Paralyze. Not only did he kind of like hinder the supply and you have to build more depots, which is really annoying. He chased away a lot of SCVs. He didn't really kill a lot of SCVs. He didn't kill that much army, but it definitely bought a lot of time. The supplies are similar right now. The 4th base is made, and this is actually what Paralyze would prefer. He wants you to kind of turtle up another base and allow him to do his magic with his speed shuttles. In the meantime, Paralyze took the other main. When your opponent takes 2 mains, right? Like when Protoss gets 3 mains, basically, because they started with a main. But if they get that many bases, this becomes really difficult. You have to kill one. You can't let them keep them. There's no way to out-efficiency a Protoss with all the main bases. It just can't occur, like mathematically. It doesn't even matter. They can just right-click all their units at you for the rest of the game. So he's going to have to kill one of these. This one looks... Here, I guess the problem is the attack path to this one is cleaner, but it's way harder to kill this one because it has gateways at it. Right? The attack path to top left is terrible. He's going to send some siege tanks up there, so who knows? Maybe drops can do it. But the attack path is really, really bad, because like either you enter the center of the map and then go way up, or you rally through here, which is no good. That is a terrible attack path. Your Protoss is just going to be able to easily get their units over there to stop you from that. Now, he brings vultures up to work with these siege tanks, which is a very good move. If he could get this Nexus even one time, he is definitely back in the game. Paralyze, though, taking it pretty seriously. He picks up the 1 siege tank he has left. Maybe he can get the probes and, like, lessen the impact of the base for a little bit. DT coming out, very common plays. And, in fact, he sees that DT without it even moving and scans for it. Doesn't want to be dealing with that. When the DTs start coming out, it really hinders your drops. So I like that he's removed that very, very quickly. A lot of siege tanks up here, maybe going to try to attack the other base. Again, these attack paths can be a little bit tricky to go down. Right? You're attacking like through these little ramps. Re-rallying into there can be tough. Gets a very good position. There's a lot of High Templars up here, but he can siege and kill this Nexus really easily. Now, in the meantime, it looks like Paralyze may be thinking about attacking here. Now, if he brings his entire army strength, he may be able to break because we have so many units down here. But this is a very strong defensive position. Looks like Ample is doing a good job here. Don't see a redrop or anything. And in fact, he has an attack there. Just kind of Paralyze sitting a lot of units there at the moment. D-Matrix on this forward tank. Kind of like it. You know what? If he can kill this base, again, if he kills another main, he's back in the running for the game. It's a tough position right now, but Ample has a lot of potential. I think he's playing beautifully, to be honest. 3 shuttles coming down. Now, here is the thing I was talking about before, right? Like, when you get spread like this, you know, you have army here, you have army here, and you have army here, and it's like he's just bringing his entire force to one area. So he brings it into the center, and it's like, well, your units are split into 3 areas, so how do you possibly hold? And you can see that it's not necessarily the most efficient trade, but he's just got so much, he's overwhelming this spot. Now this base lifts off and will start floating over here. Maybe he's just going to try to land it over there and deal with a new base, but he does have to clear this area since that's kind of his rally. Paralyze taking another Nexus at the top there. And look, these gates are not even going to be up in a minute. Crazy, crazy game right now. The SCV count has been reduced a little bit here for Ample, which is painful. Ample killing off as much as he can. That has killed off this base. The Burning Command Center floating over. He's actually unpowered the gates except for one. So this base is his. There's not enough units here. So unless speed shuttles come down and ruin this push, he should be able to kill this base off. But you can't trade this base for these two. It's not actually even still because these 2 bases are being taken. You have to do more than that. It looks like speed shuttles will come in, so actually it's even worse than what I was just saying. You know, I'm like, he needs to do more, but actually he's doing even less than anticipated here as those speed shuttles stop him. Paralyze still just stalling out what's going on in this area. This is not defensible long-term. A lot of speed lots coming down. Maybe he can erase these because they are kind of aggroing onto stupid stuff like the command center. Unsiege is there to try to save his 1 siege tank. Not going to work, unfortunately. Okay. This game right now is getting out of hand for Ample, unfortunately. More speed shuttles headed over from Paralyze. What is this? Is it just 12 Zealots? Can't click that bottom one. It does have some High Templars in there as well. Oh, they all blow up to mines. So that was a drop that did not do very much. He does still send his SCVs away. He has this base up and mining. Okay, okay. Looks like he should be able to push us down. So he needs to secure this area. I think at this point, you're just going to want to turtle for a moment. You don't want to go out into the middle. If you can siege up this area, you can siege up this area. Okay, take this base, this base, this base. And if you can kind of just hold those for a moment and max out, you're in great shape again. Now, that's a lot I just said. So, like, let's not pretend that that's going to be an easy feat here for Ample, but he's working towards it. He's moving over here. He's clearing this base. He has this one mining. He should probably just float the command center, honestly. Like, you can't be building command centers. You don't have that much money. But another attack in here. You know, Ample spread a little bit thin. Paralyze going to try to get in on top of everything. Great size storm on those siege tanks. They will end up, you know, living. Hopefully he can get like an SCV there to repair. And you can see some of the problems of going through these areas. Like he sieged. This ramp is blocked, right? Hard to move units through these areas now. And he is setting up some missile turrets. I love this. The fact that he's setting up the missile turret shows that Ample is like, yeah, I need to hold on to the entire bottom right if I'm going to win this game. He's going to need a lot of resources to do it. Now, another big attack, because a lot of the units had to go over to the left to defend that entrance towards the natural. Suddenly, there's not as many units over here. Paralyze, once again, bringing the majority of his army into an area to attack. Hitting this bottom right once again, running SCVs, floating burning command center, and he didn't get the Nexus yet. I think Ample's pretty dead, guys. He had a lot of good ideas. I actually think he was playing well. The thing that went wrong for Ample was when Paralyze bombed in here with the shuttles. He was actually in a very good spot before that with the 9 fact, with the 2-1 on the way. Should have had a little bit more anti-air. It looks like a small mistake, but it is a big mistake, right? If he had been able to really shut those down, if he hadn't gotten a massive supply block, lost the mining time, lost the timing to move out against his opponent taking a 5th base, I feel like Ample could have taken this. I think he actually played really well. But, you know, Paralyze gets in with that one huge dive in, and it's like, he just gets a huge tempo advantage. And you can't let your opponent have a tempo advantage on this map. On some other maps, like if this was Vermeer, Ample could have fought back with the 4 base because he can kind of turtle it up well. But as you can see, like, Paralyze is like attack here, then attack here, then attack here. Oh, attack here again. You know, and the fact that he's rotating around, I always talk about this map and how far apart these bases are, right? This base to this base. Look at that compared to a 16 base map, right? The 16 base map will have it like, it'll be in this area instead of this area. So Paralyze doing a good job kind of abusing the layout of the map after getting a slight edge with those bombed in shuttles. And he is finishing him off now. Twice the supply. Ample's trying to get things done. He's getting dropships all over the place, but truly he just doesn't have the muscle anymore. I actually really like this game. I hope you guys did it as well. And that is going to be that for the losers match. Ample going to be eliminated, and that means that only one out of Motive and Paralyze will move on to our round of 8. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you next time.